So the Mario movie, we have seen a new trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and people are seething. I've seen Darkside Phil come out and try to say it doesn't look good. I've seen people come out and try to say it's not a real Mario Galaxy movie because there's things from other Mario games in it. I've seen people complain about Yoshi, like, oh no, is he a little baby or is he an animal sidekick? Like, I've seen people cope and seethe about this movie that looks phenomenal. And it really is embarrassing and a testament to how desperate these older, jaded boomer fans are at downplaying what's going to be peak. Not only is this going to be the best Mario movie ever made, it's going to surpass everything that Disney has ever done. It's going to surpass Marvel. It's going to surpass Lord of the Rings. It's going to surpass Warhammer 40K. It is going to surpass, like, everything that any of these other lesser brands have done. And that's kind of why people are running scared, because they know that this is probably going to be the end of Disney's monopoly over the animation industry. Because for the past, like, 20, 30 years, right, Disney's been the only company that's been putting out anything. DreamWorks basically just does parodies of Disney movies. Disney's the only animation company that's done anything of value. They're the only ones that, like, anybody talks about or anyone hypes up. They're, like, supposedly the best in the industry. And here we have the far superior Illumination coming in with, like, Shigeru Miyamoto to produce a better movie than anything they've ever done. It's remarkable. When Tolkien, spoke out about how Disney, classic vintage, like, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Disney, like, how they had this tendency to, like, butcher these classic fairy tales and sanitize them for children. Like, it needs to be understood that Disney has always been slop. It is not a recent phenomenon. It is not a new thing. It has always push degenerate values onto audiences, especially young girls. This is the same company that brought us Hannah Montana and The Wrecking Ball. Okay? Like, they created Miley Cyrus. So, like, again, Disney is the most evil corporation there is. So, when you look at, like, something like Nintendo, which makes better products with none of the bad values or, like, the degeneracy or anything, like, what you get is a far superior company run by people who can actually make high-quality products, putting out things that are antithetical to the propaganda, right? There are no communist subversive messages in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, okay, which is a far cry from, like, movies like, Elemental, which is all about how we have to race mix, even if it, like, literally kills us. Or, like, Zootopia, where, like, oh man, predators and prey, oh, like, we have to coexist, Disney has very, very woke subliminal messages in all of its programming. Okay, nothing Disney has ever put out has ever been good. So Nintendo has kind of stomped all of that with the original Mario movie, and they're introducing the sequel. And a lot of people, whose lives revolve around Disney, and a lot of people who obsess over the company and are straight up owned by them, like in Angry Joe's case, like, they are going to fight to downplay the Super Mario Galaxy movies relevancy right out of the gate, and we've been seeing this for the past couple of years. Like, every time the movie comes out, you have people trying to say it's not very good, or that Peach is a girl boss, or that, like, this, and all of it is just a gigantic cope. Like, the goal is to get you away from the superior Nintendo products and back consuming the propaganda slop, essentially. That's essentially what we're seeing here. Essentially, is that the Mario Galaxy movie looks great. It looks like it has a lot of variety. It looks like it's encompassing a ton of different features and characters from the Mario mythos. It's not a rehash of the original at all, and yet you still have a lot of people, like, coping and seething about it because they are scared of Nintendo's relevancy, like, surpassing everything, like, that they've done. Like, they will be forced to accept the fact that everything they like is lame, that nobody cares for it, that Marvel was just a fad, that Warhammer 40K only took off because of Star Wars failing, that, Star Wars is no longer the most popular thing in the world, that it's been surpassed by Pokemon. It's something that these people can't really accept. it's something that they've been like fighting their entire lives against. The kind of dominance of Japanese cultural media. It's not just video games and Nintendo. It's other mediums as well, particularly manga that are stomping Western comic books. But it's just this weird, stubborn like cultural zeitgeist that just kind of refuses to accept reality. That One Piece is bigger than Batman. That Japanese fantasy has like way more credibility than Western fantasy. That Princess Mononoke is better than James Cameron's Avatar, right? Well, actually, The Last Airbender as well, but let's not go into that. So, again, when you look at like situations like this, when you realize just how much more soul goes into these products, and just how much American media can't compete, it's like, why exactly are we so adamant about defending Western media to the extent that we do? We're essentially defending Marxist propaganda at its core. If you like any Western brand, whether it's Star Trek or like Doctor Who or whatever, you are supporting communism. Like there's just no getting around it. That like all of these brands exist to push like the message and the ideology. Like, if you like Blazing Saddles back in the day, yeah, that was a woke brand. If you like Star Trek, the original series, yeah, that was woke. Like you're not really accepting the reality of what's actually happening with these shows and like their purpose and why you're encouraged to like revolve your entire lives around them, right? You don't really realize how sinister of a company Disney is at its core. All the attempts at trying to make Nintendo out to be worse are just laughably off base and are obviously just attempts to try and gaslight you into like thinking that somehow Disney is better, and they're just not. That's kind of my takeaway with this, is that like this is just the system fighting to preserve itself. We are seeing people die to protect the system that they are enslaved to. That's essentially what we're seeing. Like, they are so hopelessly dependent on Disney and other Western companies for their entertainment, for their happiness, that they genuinely cannot imagine a world without them. And as a result of that, they lash out against anything that might be considered a threat to it, right? They will fight to defend Disney and other inferior Western brands like their life's depending on it because they're so dependent. Like, a lot of these people have nothing going on in their lives outside of Disney. And that is why the term Disney adult has become such like a cringe cultural phenomenon. Like, and why you don't really see this with like Nintendo fans, because Nintendo fans are significantly more self-sufficient. We're significantly more mature. We're significantly more well-educated. We have careers. We have dreams. We have aspirations beyond like worshiping a company. Disney fans aren't like that. Like, all they want to do is sit around, consume product, and then enjoy new product. And that is exactly where they want you to be. Disney and other companies like it have made you into a slave. Nintendo will set you free.